Pending the outcome of investigation by the Confederation of African Football (CAF) into Super Eagles' ill treatment in Libya, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga said, henceforth, the ministry will ensure briefing on current situation of any host country before traveling. Yusuf Tuga was speaking when he received the NFF President Ibrahim Musa Gusau in his office at the ministry in Abuja.
We landed around 7:45 p.m. in Al-Abrak Airport. After some necessary check-off, despite the fact that with so many intrigues and delays, we thought it is all over. But the next thing is for us to be directed to go and be caged in one small hall. From there, the communication started. So since then, I'm sure, and I believe, and I know, even you here in Nigeria, you don't have a single minute to sleep, because we know the effort we put in place to ensure that things work well for us. The much unfortunate situation was that we couldn't even access network, neither do we attend internet. So we're just dumped in a hall that we don't know what is going on. And we're virtually just surrounded by some security officers. And we try to make effort to see how we can even go out to get some food that we can eat. But we are harassed and informed that there's no way we can get out of that place. So that was when we realized that it is not going to be an easy thing.
It's unfortunate because Libya still remains a divided country with two competing governments, sadly. The acting ambassador that we have here, the Chargé d'Affaires, is from the Western government, whereas the national team went into the Eastern territories. So which meant that we had to reach out, because as a nation, our priority is to secure the safety of our citizens. So even though the government that is present here, that is recognized, is not the one that clearly has de facto jurisdiction on the eastern side, where the national team was sent to play this game, we had to engage with the foreign minister of the eastern side of Libya. And I believe it was only after that engagement that we were able to get concrete action and results with regards to the fueling of the aircraft. I believe, well, what he told me on the phone is that eventually you were able to be provided with some food and some water before taking off. So you see, this is what he was telling us here. He was telling us here that there's even food and water now.
Nobody gave us answer.
And then eventually we were sent the video clip of the plane taking off from the airport. It's unfortunate, but it means also that we have to work closely together with the NFF to ensure that whenever they're going out, we're fully aware and we brief them properly on the prevailing conditions of wherever they're going to. Situation where a team would go out to play in a foreign country and they are subjected to this sort of treatment and then still expected to be on top of their game when they play. Clearly you can see that this does not apply, and it's something that I think the CAF and other bodies that organize and supervise these soccer matches have to pay closer attention to and take action, decisive action.
Diplomatic efforts made by the Foreign Affairs Minister helped in resolving the impasse between the national team and the Libyan authorities. The decision of the Confederation of African Football will determine a neutral ground whereby both countries will play the second leg of the AFCON match. Our next feature is an inclusive interview with Ambassador Abole Ode, giving us insight on how the international community views the Nigeria and Libya recent development.
So we would like to tap your knowledge, or small, regarding how will the international community be viewing the recent development that occurred in Libya with our national team?
First of all, before delving into that question by way of answer, I will want to state that dominance or preeminence in the field of sports is one of those things that lend credence to the emerging scenario of possession of soft power. Soft power elicits the ability to influence other societies without any force or of kinetics or otherwise, that it lends support and assistance and acceptance of a country's views, ways and manners of doing things, because the country is projecting itself positively in the field of sporting activities. Take, for example, Jamaica, the influence that island country has in the field of sports, or Ethiopia and Kenya in long-distance races. So preeminence in the field of sports is one of the sources of soft power for countries, and that is why countries have realized that in addition to becoming big income earners for athletes from your country, and that is why countries have begun to lay emphasis in being preeminent in the field of sports.
Again, sir, we know that Nigeria and Libya have maintained a very strong cordial relations, right since before. I could even remember when our former Minister of Foreign Affairs, then Oyama, he went to Libya with Nigerian delegation to liaise with the Libyan government on how to release Nigerians that were stranded in that country. At that time, there were discrepancies in the number of migrants. We thought they were about up to like 300, 400, but upon reaching there, we realized that they were up to almost 1,000. So it became a case for Nigeria on how to evacuate them. But the Libyan government supported Nigeria at that time. So I don't see any correlation between politics and sports. Sports is supposed to be a unifier.
Yes, thank you very much for that question. Sports is supposed to be a unifier within a country, and acceptance without outside the country of a given nation. Don't forget that between two countries, or between two regions, or between two schools, there is a latent and absolute rivalry between two contending teams. If it's in the field of sports, if it's in the field of track, of course there is competition. Everybody wants to win, and everybody wants to keep the laurel. And in attempting to win, some shortcuts are taken, some untoward attitudes are put up, and that is why any and every sports activity has its own rules and regulations in order to guide against untoward behavior and make sure that the competition is seen to be fair and firm. So between Nigeria and Libya, yes, the relationship has always been very cordial, but there also the element of competition between the two nations. Libya under Muammar Gaddafi had scant regard for Nigeria because he thought we have all the weight and all the size, and we are punching below our weight, and he has what it takes in terms of cash to run around and run riot. So he indulged in quite some unwholesome attitudes towards Nigeria, and Nigeria had, at a couple of times, had to call him to order in doing that. Don't forget that at a point, he actually called for the splitting of Nigeria into two. So such rivalry will be found to be latent in the field of sports. Of course, Libya will want to triumph over Nigeria or any other team in the field of sports competition. Nigeria, of course, will want to be preeminent and predominate in the field of sports. So the rivalry comes in. The current incidents was one of those things that emerge from either people not handling the procedure that leads to a sports competition. The Libyan side complained that when they came to Nigeria to go and play in Uyo, somehow they found themselves in Port Harcourt, right? Now, and they had to leave Port Harcourt for Uyo by road. Now, when they went back, they complained that Nigeria treated them badly. Therefore, what we experienced or what our players experienced in Libya was a revenge for what they claimed they had experienced here. And now they fall out all over the place.
So revenge is reciprocal.
Reciprocity may be that they are being reciprocal, but I think it has backfired because right now the Confederation of African Sport has delisted that second round match and said they are investigating the matter. My take is this: let them investigate thoroughly, properly, fairly. If Nigeria is found to be guilty, let the sanctions prevail. If it is Libya, let the sanctions prevail.
But so far, there's no blame game. Nobody should blame the other. Since you mentioned that it's a kind of a revenge thing, because when they came also to Nigeria, they experienced something similar, but this one has gone overboard.
Yes, but again, the investigation will reveal whether the debacle they experienced in Nigeria by flying into Port Harcourt and going by road to Uyo was caused by the Nigerian side or by their side. Of course, what is established now is that the debacle the Nigerian Super Eagles experienced in Libya was deliberately planned and executed by the Libyan authorities.
So, in a nutshell, sir, Nigerians' fate is hanging in the balance now, whether they're going to play on a neutral ground or they will just have to wait for the decision of CAF.
They have to wait for a decision on the CAF. Right now, Nigeria is 1 point ahead by that home goal. Yeah. So we will know what the decision of CAF will be, but whatever it takes, let it be, and let sanity return to the field of play, and let us enjoy AFCON 2025.
As regards to Nigeria's image internationally, do you think this can actually taint it a bit, or this is a common?
I think so far, Nigeria occupies the moral high ground, since they are claiming that the flight into Port Harcourt was caused by the Libyan authorities themselves, or the Libyan delegation that was coming, and so far, I think the scale is weighed in favor of Nigeria. We don't know what CAF investigation will reveal.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's have a break. I'll be back in a moment.